Months had passed since Kweku returned home. He had tasted fame, traveled across the country, and almost lost himself to the bright light and noise of success. But when clouds faded and the music stopped, he realized something. The world clapping could never fill the silence that came when love was missing. He remembered where his true rhyme began, in the garden of Lady Asantewa's house, beside a little girl who once could not walk but never stopped believing in him. Ashamed yet grateful, he came back to the mansion that had given him hope first. Lady Asantewaa did not scold him. She simply opened her arms and said, "You left as a boy, chasing noise. You have come back as a man who understands silence. That is enough." From that day, peace returned to their lives. Kweku had grown into a fine young man, still humble, still full of life. He wanted to give other children the chance he had been given. So he started a small group in town, a place where street children could come after school to dance, draw, and dream. He called it the Hope Dance Academy. At first, it was just an empty storeroom behind an old church. He cleaned the floor himself and painted the walls bright yellow. Every afternoon, barefoot children came running, some hungry, some shy, and he taught them steps, laughter, and discipline. Soon, Lady Asantewaa heard about it. When she visited, she stood at the door and watched the children dancing to Kweku drum beats. She smiled, tears filling her eyes. "Kweku," she said softly, "you have turned your pain into purpose. I am proud of you." From that day, she helped him expand it. She provided funding, helped find volunteers, and turned his small dream into something larger than all of them. The name Hope Dance Academy began to spread across Accra. The mansion that once felt heavy with silence was alive again. Children came and went, now walking slowly with the help of therapy, joined in to teach them simple moves. Her laughter filled the garden and Lady Asantewa's smile returned. Sometimes in the quiet of evenings, the three of them would sit under the mango tree in the garden. Kweku would beat soft rhymes on an old drum, now will hum, and Lady Asantewaa would close her eyes, whispering, "This house was once full of sorrow, but love has made it sing again." Life felt complete. But even in happiness, the human heart carries its limits. At first, it was only small things. Lady Asantewaa pausing mid-sentences, pressing a hand to her chest. She told herself it was something wrong with her. Maybe just tiredness. She had been working too much, meetings, events, interviews, trips across Ghana to other countries and for the foundation. When Nan noticed, she asked, "Mama, are you all right?" She smiled and replied, "Just a little tired, my dear. I will rest soon." But the tiredness did not go away. One afternoon during a rehearsal, she suddenly felt dizzy. Kweku caught her just as she trembled. She laughed it off, saying, "I stood too long in the sun." A few days later, it happened again. This time, during a foundation event, people rushed towards and Kweku helped her to a chair. The smile stayed on her face, but there was fear behind her eyes. Doctors call it a heart strain. They advised her to slow down. She promised she would, but the foundation was growing and she could not bear to leave her children, the real and the adopted ones, waiting. She began to delegate more to Na and Kweku. At night, she sat in her room listening to their laughter in the hall. Her heart hot. But not only from sickness, it was the ache of a mother watching her children take her place. Still, she prayed every night, thanking God for giving her enough time to see how far they have come. Sometimes she will whisper, "If my time is near, at least I know love did not fail." Her illness was slow, gentle, like a sunset that stayed long before the night fully arrived. By the time the pain became constant. Everyone around her could feel what she already knew. Her body was weakening, but her spirit was brighter than ever. Lady Asantewa's strength faded slowly. Some mornings she walked through the foundation hall, greeting children with a warm smile. Other days she stayed in bed listening to their laughter from afar. The once energetic woman who traveled from city to city, country to country, moved gently, with every step a prayer. Kweku tried to hide his worry. He continued teaching, organizing small shows so she could watch from her balcony. Whenever she appeared, the children clapped and shouted, "Mama Asantewaa!" She always waved and said, "Keep dancing, my darlings. Love is stronger than fear." But the nights grew harder. The pain in her chest became steady. The medicines brought little relief. Finally, Dr. Mensah spoke softly to Na and Kweku. She will need more rest now. Her heart is too tired. At the hospital, the corridors smelled of antiseptics and faint hope. Lady Asantewa's room was bright, filled with flowers from the foundation children. Each morning, new drawings arrived, tiny hearts, stick fingers dancing, short note that said, "Get well soon, Mama." Na stayed beside her, reading messages aloud. Kweku came with fresh fruit and played soft rhymes on a small drum. The small drum he had once used on the street. Sometimes she laughed, sometimes she only listened with her eyes open. One evening, she asked them to open the curtains. The city light was bright in the distance. She whispered, "When I'm gone, don't let this place become another silent mansion. Promise me it will stay alive with music and children's voices." Na squeezed her hand. "I promise, Mama." Kweku nodded, unable to speak. Weeks later, she was strong enough to go home. The doctors call it recovery. Now call it grace. In truth, everyone knew it was the calm before farewell. Evening, she sat in her garden, wrapped in a shawl. The fountain gurgled softly. The air smelled of hibiscus and rain. Na and Kweku sat beside her as the sun set. She looked at them lovely. "My children, do you know why love never dies?" They shook their heads. "Because love teaches others how to love and they carry it forward. That's how heart stays alive." She turned to Kweku. "You gave hope to children no one cared about. That's real success." Then to Na, "You learn to walk again, not with your legs, but with your faith." Tears welled in their eyes. She reached out, joining their hands together. "Promise me you will keep walking this road together for the children, for yourself, and for me." They both whispered, "We promise, Mama." That night she slept peacefully, her breathing soft and steady. By morning, the garden was quiet except for the birds. She was gone. News spread quickly across the country. The woman who had turned her sorrow into light had passed on. At the funeral, black and white tents filled the foundation grounds. Hundreds came, leaders, neighbors, and the children she had once saved. The service began with a slow dance. Barefoot children danced in white, moved gracefully in a circle, their hands raised towards the sky. Kweku led the rhyme on the single drum, tears in his eyes. Na stood beside her mother's framed portrait, a smiling woman in an armored lace, eyes full of peace. When she spoke, her voice trembled but held steady. My mother's greatest gift was not her money or fame or her name. It was her heart. She believed that one act of love could change a life. Today, we are living proof. The crowd murmured, "Amen." Kweku placed his drum beside the coffin and said softly, "Rest, Mama, we will keep the dance alive." Months later, life slowly found rhyme again. The foundation expanded across Ghana with new branches in Kumasi, Takoradi, and Tamale. Each hall burned her name on the wall, Lady Asantewaa Agyeman. Love lives here. Now became the foundation director, leading with patience and grace. Kweku managed the creative programs, teaching dance, theater, and acts. Every child who joined learned not only movement but gratitude. Every year on the anniversary of her passing, they held a candle night dance in the memorial garden built behind the main hall. The roses bloomed brighter each season. The fountain still whispered peace. At the center stood her marbled plaque. Love lives here, Lady Asantewaa Agyeman. 1979 to 2023. Now often sat by it at sunset. Sometimes she spoke aloud, sometimes she just listened. I hope we are making you proud, Mama. She would say. The wind always answered with a soft rustle through the leaves. Years later, a journalist asked Na how the Hope Foundation Academy survived so long. She smiled and said, "It began with one boy who danced for a little girl who could not walk, and a woman who refused to stop believing in love. Everything else is just rhyme." As evening fell over the foundation, drums echoed through the courtyard. Children laughed and twinkled barefoot on the cold floor. Kweku watched from the doorway, hands folded, eyes lifted towards the fading light. Somewhere in golden glow, he could almost see Lady Asantewaa standing beneath the mango tree smiling. And though her body was gone, her spirit moved through every song, every heartbeat, every child who believed, because love, real love, never dies. It simply changes from and keeps on dancing. And so ends the Lady Asantewaa Agyeman Na and Kweku story. 3 lives that prove one simple truth. Love does not need wealth. It needs hearts, and needs believing, and needs hope. From pain came purpose. From struggle came strength. And from one act of kindness came a legacy that changed hundreds of lives. This story reminds us that no matter what we come from or what we lose, there's always something greater waiting inside us. The power to love, to forgive, and to begin again. Power of second chance. If this story touched your heart, remember, somebody out there might need it. So share it. Leave a comment about what lesson you are taking away from it. And most importantly, subscribe so that you don't miss more true and inspiring stories like this one. This is Tales Mama Official. Every story carries a heartbeat, and every heartbeat tells a story without. This is Tales Mama Official. Every story carries a heartbeat, and every heartbeat tells a story worth remembering. Bye, friends.